walk. Back here. There it is. You see, you've got the stylised cat motif at the top there, and his name Harold, in a new lowercase typeface design. Myself rather pleased with that. In fact, and put it on his cat carrier here for his once a year seeing to down at the vets, and. And on the way back from the vets, though, waiting on the railway station platform, terrible mix-up because what I hadn't foreseen was the fact that my logo was a precise inversion of the logo of the firm Ezo Jug. I don't know if you've got an Ezo Jug at home. That's an Ezo Jug, the cup-shaped jug with the non-slip lug. I think the non-slip lug is that grippy thing on the hand that stops you spilling the soup over yourself. And on the railway station platform, I find myself standing unbeknownst to either of us next to an Ezo Jug sales representative, and he's got his box of samples with him, and I think, oh dear, I put Harold upside down again, because put him anyway up, never a peep out of him. And Ezo Jug sales representative sees my box, thinks, oh dear, I put my samples upside down again. But of course they're indestructible. There's no wrong way up with an Ezo Jug, that's their slogan. And I take his box, he takes my box, and of course when I get home I think Harold just doesn't want to come out of his box for a few days, a bit traumatised by the vets, and simultaneously Harold has been delivered to a nouveau-riche family over the other side of town who've ordered an Ezo Jug. And whilst patently not an Ezo Jug, he is rather taken to the hearts of the family concerned. They use him as a table decoration, a sort of centrepiece. Because I don't know if you know, when a cat curls itself round into a circle and goes to sleep on its side like that, if you poke a candle underneath its arm, there's just enough grip from the sleeping cat there to keep the candle upright. And I sent him back after a few days. They got bored with him, as nouveau-riche people so often do with cats. And it took me a long time to chisel off all the dried wax. And the strange thing is, he now can't actually sleep without holding a candle under his arm. It's a security thing. That's right. It's the ah moment. We poets always strive to have an ah moment. But of course, been feeling rather pleased with myself. Recently discovered the missing end of the Bayer tapestry, and it was in a drawer in the kitchen. Had to get Simon Sharma to come round and authenticate it, and he said it wasn't the first time a piece of 11th century embroidery had been found in a kitchen drawer, not by any means. He said there's a Bayer tapestry as we've known it, hitherto, very, very abrupt ending. Battle of Hastings has been fought and lost, or won, depending on which side you're on. There's two ways to look at all conflicts, isn't there? And the end is sheared off. We don't know what happens after that, but I do have the ending here today. That's right. It has to go to the cathedral at Bayer fairly soon to be sewn onto the other bit. But first of all, it's doing a tour of cabarets in Gloucestershire. It's a special dispensation of having found it, you understand. I'll unfurl it scene by scene. I'll do the translation. I know not everyone's got the Latin these days. I need someone to hold one end, please. Just one end. That's it. Thank you. That's good. That's excellent. Now, I'm not going to ask you your name or where you live or anything, as it's not really important, is it? Okay, so the Battle of Hastings has been, it doesn't help the show to progress, does it? Battle of Hastings has been fought, and whilst everybody is out, the palace fills with a plague of cats. It's literally cat flu. It's being used figuratively here, a plague of cats. Yes, you can start rolling up, thank you. They run around and they have a good time. This cat treadles on an expensive quilt. This cat defiles the bones of a saint. Then Duke William, that's William the Conqueror's William, comes along to be crowned. Instead of a crown, that's very good, it's very crisp, can't expose the atmosphere for too long. Instead of a crown, the Archbishop places a cat upon the Duke's head, erroneously purpurine. Then the Duke writes the Doomsday Book, and he gives to the cat a tract of land in Suffolk. No, don't applaud. How will she ever learn the art of humility? It was that tract of land that he gave to his little cat, whom he had by then christened Felix. He said, Felix is somewhere for you to stow yourself away by the Suffolk coast. And it was that tract of land that grew to become the mighty city that we now call Ipswich. From tiny acorns, that's the point we're making here. How are we doing? It wasn't really a poem, was it? Of course, poetry is changing all the time. It's not about the quill pens and the big hats anymore. Some of the poets in London wear the big hats. But it's about other things. It's about desktop publishing and Wendy Cope and things like that. And I didn't want to get left behind, so I got myself a laptop computer here. And it's all too easy, isn't it? All too easy to just use them as glorified typewriters, but you can do other things with them as well. And I've used mine to draw my family tree here. Let's have a look at that. Oh, sorry, the screensaver keeps coming up. There's my family tree. There's the family tree. That's me there. That's my mother. That's my grandmother. Over on this side, that's Fleetwood Mac there. There's the ill-fated second line up down there. But of course, that's right. Before I was a poet, I used to be a life model for the front covers of historical romantic fiction. That's me on the cover of The Love Child. Constance Heaven there. Very interesting process. Used to go into the artist studio and used to put a little minaret on my shoulder, a little fiberglass minaret, very small, made it look as though it was in the background. Or if it was a different book, Catherine Cook's, and maybe a little fiberglass cotton mill, fiberglass lime kiln, very small, made it look as though it was in the background. And of course, when you write books for children, you have to research what's already been written. You have to go into Waterstones and thumb through the books. There's no point writing a book that's already been written. It's going to be a waste of everyone's time, isn't it? And I realised from my research that there hadn't been enough books for the preschool age group on the topic of inn signs. That's right, you identify the niche and you fill it, identify and fill, that's our mantra. And so this is how I filled the niche. It's called the Centipede's Book of Inn Signs. This concerns itself with a centipede whose chiefest pleasure is to walk across the surface of any inn signs that he discovers on his travels, and try using the likeable, genial figure of the centipede here as a conduit to foster in the child's mind a love of inn signs that can be taken forward into adult life. That's the thinking behind it, you see. And just here we go. Oops. Centipede centi segmented so fine, toddling on 20 feet over the sign. In the magnifying glass you resemble a monster, but tell us which inn sign exactly you're on, sir. Well, okay, step this way. Centipede's voice in pink, narrator in blue. It's very important if you want to give them different accents. And then we see him through the magnifying glass, very big. And we have to identify which sign he's on at any one particular time. Here we go. Are you floating on white waves, on breakers so big? No, I'm up on the Duke of Northumberland. Have you conquered the moon or some planet quite foreign? It's the jovial Irishman playing his boron. It's a sort of theme pub, that one. Do you pause by a tomb contemplating your end? No, this is the Cricketer's Arms, my good friend. Have you gone to Australia? Have you gone to Australia in one tiny jump? No, I'm at the White Swan and this is its rump. But which sign would you say is the pick of the bunch? The sign that says now serving centipede's lunch. Initially that was the end of the book, but then I thought for that particular age group it needed one more page of text adding at the end, so I thought, could you also go to sleep please? Finally, we've been hearing a lot recently about the strange, esoteric, geometric shapes superimposed on the landscape, maybe only visible from half a mile above the surface of the fields, and been doing a bit of research of my own recently, taking a large-scale Ordnance Survey map of Great Waltham in Essex, and 1 to 25,000. And what I've done is I've traced some of the natural features, some of these streams and rivers, some of the man-made features, some of the roads and the field boundaries, and I found it's just about possible to trace a very approximate representation of Mr. Godfrey from Dad's Army. It's all in the field boundaries. It's all in the field boundaries. And have to ask yourself, whom was it placed there for? Only visible from half a mile above the surface of the fields. And who was it placed there for? And I don't actually know, do I? I mean, that's why mysterious things are mysterious. It gives you something to chew over. That's what mysterious means. It means things you can chew over. That's it. Yes, indeed. That is it. No. There's a very fine band coming. That's right. It's something for the banterers to chat about, though. Little theories that you can share before the band comes on. Thank you. You've been very indulgent. Thank you.